Liam Rush. Our video referee is Aaron Moore. We are all set here for round 11 in the Betfred Super League, as it's the Warrington Wolves who are going to get things off and underway for us, as Mark Sneed hoists a long high ball right into the corner. And here he is, Kaius Faatili, the man who scored the absolutely magical try at the Magic Weekend a couple of weeks ago, which has had people glowing with excitement ever since. People talking about it as a potential try of the season contender, and I know, Tez, you for a fact as a member of the Forwards Union will be very much in favour of that.
Yeah, absolutely nailed on. It was unbelievable, 75 metres. I thought he was exceptional right the way through the game.
Griffin making his way through as Hood just behind at hooker finds Faatili, and Hood was a real architect of that win against Castleford a couple of weeks ago, because Wakefield was so quick at the play of the ball that they just didn't give Castleford any time whatsoever. That was a real factor in overwhelming Castleford as they managed to build up a bigger and bigger lead. Here's Mason Lino with the first big high kick for Wakefield, and Dufty will get himself right underneath this one, and he's lost it as Wakefield reclaim position back here, and Faatili with a flick over the top, chasing after it, putting Warrington under some serious pressure. But all of a sudden there, it was panic stations at the back of it for Warrington.
Yeah, well, obviously still full of confidence after scoring that spectacular try. Looks for a spectacular kick. Obviously doesn't quite come off for him.
How many times are we going to mention that this afternoon? Seriously, if you haven't seen it, it was joyous.
Well, but you know that the big thing for both of these sides early on, when you're a player, you want to get stuck into the game and you want to knock off those first 5 sets whenever you can. Get to the kick, challenge the opposition down in their corner, get off the line with some real intent.
Here is some intent for the Warrington Wolves as they get out to the 30-metre line, as that was touched away down the left-hand side. Here's Paul Vaughan, who had an absolute stormer against Lee in that semi-final clash last week. One of his finest performances in a Warrington shirt. Sam Powell is just behind him, and this will be launched upfield by Sneed again. And don't forget, a bit of a change around at the back for Wakefield this afternoon. As player goes down there, it's Tom Johnstone who's picked that one up eventually, but Josh Rourke playing at full-back this afternoon with Max Jowett, who is preferred in the halves alongside Mason Lino. What did he make of that decision?
Yeah, well Josh Rourke, look, he's a fabulous player. Earned some big plaudits last year for London. I thought he was one of the best players, and he's been given a chance here. And let me tell you, gets an opportunity. Mike McMeekan, you look for senior players to get you going. Again, he's been a good player. Look, landing on his front, playing the ball quick, and again, just look at him pushing up in numbers. Jay
Pitts bringing the ball over the halfway line. Wakefield showing some real early intent here to try and push Warrington onto the back foot. And here's Kaius Faatili. Jowett just behind him, and also Liam Hood before it comes out wide to the right-hand side. Lino with a quick short ball, looking for Jack Croft. And closing in on the line here, Wakefield, as they try and make the best of this little spell of early possession. Lino getting it down the line again. Quick hands to Jowett down the left flank. He might just bring this one back in here very nicely, Ollie Pratt, but he's been pushed back again for Jowett. Now Griffin, Lino, just a little pause as Wakefield get themselves back into some sort of semblance here. Just over 10 metres from the line now. In with Faatili, lets this one go out towards McMeekan, who's banging on the door. Hood goes short for Faatili, who's going for the line himself. Has he managed to get the ball down? The referee wants to have a quick look at this one. He was in a very, very good position, Liam Rush. The Warrington players are going to argue with him. But he says there's a process that needs to be done here, so it does look as though he will go upstairs for this one. And for the first time this afternoon, Aaron Moore will make the decision.
Just confirm he maintains possession through to the ground, please, mate. Sam Powell's alleged that he was held by the man playing the ball as well. My life goal on that's a try.
You got me, Smithy. Have you got me? So it's tackle 5 with an on-field decision. Tackle 5 with an on-field decision of a try. So we'll go from the play of the ball here. So both players have got hold of one another. Can play the ball here through. So the ball's played, and then Fatali's in possession here. So we'll look at the best angles on this. So Fatali's in possession of the ball. We just want to see the best angle to see that it's not lost into any man. So this will be the best angle for us. So he's in possession here. And just go back on this. Still in possession of the ball, Kais Fatali. I just want to go TX on this just to see if there's any separation or not. So I want to go TX because it's blurry on my screen and I can't see if it's lost into the man or if it's kept hold of by Fatali. So we'll go TX on this. So just go back on that, please. Just go back. You can just go back on that. This is the best camera footage for us. So he's got it in his hands there. And he looks to keep hold of the ball in his hands. Is this the best footage we've got? Yeah, just go back on that again, please. Go back on that again. So he's got... So play it through here, play it through. So he's got hold of the ball. Separation there, but no one's in contact. And then he looks to have his right hand on the ball, so we can play it through there. There's no sufficient evidence to say he's lost the ball. We'll play it through. Keep going to grounding now. He's still got hold of the ball. Keep going, and the ball's grounded. Thank you. I've seen all I need.
So a scorer of a magical try at the Magic Weekend a couple of weeks ago. This one not quite so spectacular, but they certainly count, and it's the opening try for Kais Fatali and for Wakefield Trinity, having just managed to bulldoze his way through the Warrington defence.
Well, we're just on 4 minutes and he's already had 4 or 5 involvements carrying the ball. Fatali, well, he's certainly in a confident mood. And whether it's from 75 metres out or just for 2 or 3, what I liked about him, he was over on the left-hand side of the ruck. He comes round to the right-hand side. You can see he takes some stopping. Fatali picked up really out of nowhere, given an opportunity, and certainly repaid that faith shown in him.
Well, as mentioned early on, they got off to a blistering start against Castleford at Magic a couple of weeks ago, and they've done exactly the same again this week against Warrington. Very, very quick in terms of playing the ball from the tackles at such great speed so as to bamboozle Warrington's defence. And Max Jowett now has the opportunity to make it 6-0 with less than 5 minutes on the clock. And through he goes. And Jowett adds the extras. And Wakefield in the ascendancy in these early stages.
Well, they'll be really, really happy with the start. The big, powerful prop forward manages to get over. Have some really strong, hard, powerful work in the build-up to that. And they look on point in this game so far, doing all the basics really well. Here he is again.
The main man, the man of the moment in possession for Wakefield Trinity. And really very much at the beating heart of everything that Wakefield are doing in these early stages. What have Warrington got in response? As I was mentioning, the fact that they were really pushed so hard by Lee last weekend in the Cup semi-final. How much energy have they got left in the tank when there are so many battered and bruised bodies in that lineup? Powell goes in for the tackle for the visitors, along with Ben Curry. And now McMeekan bursting forward over the halfway line again, and just in the blink of an eye after that kick-off, Wakefield's immediately back in Warrington territory for Mason Lino to try and force a kick to the goal.
A couple of powerful charges, shift the ball over to the right-hand side to young Cordy Hall, looking to try and exploit some space on the back of that.
Look at this defending,
some strong defence.
Aaron Lindop being pushed back inside his own 10-metre line. Warrington really under the cosh in these early stages.
Do you know, sometimes defence is all about attitude. Whether you want to do it or you don't, you've got to make sure you number up, you be honest with the teammates around you. Everyone wants the ball when you're in good field position, but this is where you really do need to ask questions defensively.
Roderick Tye tackled, and Powell getting it out through to the middle again for Dufty, who's come into the back line before Powell finds Sneed, and Sneed with a kick It's a long high one. It split the two men at the back there. So well picked up, nicely taken. Tom Johnstone for Wakefield Trinity, who returns it with interest.
It's a great kick though, that, isn't it? Buying some valuable meters for them. They're just conceding some meters, some strong carries from Wakefield, getting themselves out of trouble.
Ollie Pratt being pushed back a little bit here as Warrington's defensive line seems to improve just a little bit better. Lachlan Wormsley coming through the middle.
But again, that play the ball from Wakefield was too quick. The markers weren't set.
Yeah, it really has been a hallmark of how Wakefield have gone about things so far this season. Their speed at the ruck is so quick. As Darryl Powell, the Wakefield coach, wants his players to play in this exciting, expansive brand of rugby league, and there will be times when things won't go quite according to plan. We've seen it happen on several occasions so far this season for Wakefield, but so far it's looking pretty good as Johnstone gets it out towards Griffin. Griffin going for the line for Faatili again. He's done it again. Caius Faatili get his second of the afternoon. The man can't stop scoring. Absolutely incredible stuff. I mean, talk about being in the right place at the right time, but that is the mark of a quality player, if you can be on the end of a ball when the try line is begging like that.
Yeah, incredible. He's been all over this pitch early on in this game. And you know, there are those honesty players that you just don't give up on. The kick goes up. It was a wicked kick from Mason Lino. It was spiralling everywhere. And you could just see Jake Thewlis couldn't get to it. Tom Johnstone throws it over his shoulder. The support there. And then soon as Griffin gets hold of the ball from the offload from Tom Johnstone, he just looks inside. And there must have been a smirk, surely, on Griffin's face when he's seen him there again, backing up. But the kick did all the damage. And tested the youngster. Tom Johnstone got hold of it. Griffin just nice and composed, draw the full-back. And there he is, man of the moment yet again, Faatili. 2 tries in the opening 8 minutes.
Absolutely incredible stuff from Caius Faatili. He'd scored twice this season in the run-up to this game. He scored twice this afternoon, so doubled his tally for the season so far. And he is very much the man of the moment. Max Jowett then, who is usually the one that everybody looks at when they look at Wakefield. But Jowett adds the extras, and 12 points to 0 for the home side with less than 10 minutes on the clock. Warrington probably don't know what has hit them at this early stage.
Absolutely. I thought a couple of play the balls in the build-up to get in the field position were just a bit too quick for Warrington. Couldn't control. What about the take, though, from Tom Johnstone? The footwork from Griffin, and then the support from Faatili in front of the home fans.
Pointing at the crowd as well. He's loving it. Absolutely loving it. I wonder how many Wakefield barbers are having to replicate that hairdo at the moment.
Well, Sam just looking on, obviously a bit disappointed with what he's seen in the opening. 10 minutes are good. Again, it's a good carry from Pratt. There's a problem.
There's a problem here. There's a player's gone down. And it does look as though it is Dan Russell who's taken a bit of a knock there in that challenge. Obviously, safety first is the priority when it comes to players' welfare. These guys do get involved in some big tackles and big challenges, and that man there has an awful lot on his plate in terms of some of the injuries that he's got. I was just having a look through earlier, Terry. Matty Ashton, Lachlan Fitzgibbon, George Williams, Danny Walker, Josh Thewlis, all of them on the sidelines at the moment. If you take Dufty out the equation as well, that's got to be a massive amount of your team in real trouble. Dufty, of course, probably want to wrap him in cotton wool before the Challenge Cup final, but the number of players that they've got missing that are top quality is making it hard work for Sam Burgess.
Yeah, Toby King as well. But you look at Wakefield. They've got the halfback pair in Jake True and Ollie Russell playing, so not playing. So again, you can always look at who's not playing, but who is playing. Dan Russell will see go off to the sideline for the HIA. Sam Burgess already talking on the sideline, getting James Harrison ready, what he wants, what he thinks that they need to improve on. And you can just see friendly fire from Roderick Tye. It's all about the intent as well. Sometimes from the man who's carrying the ball, Ollie Pratt, he ran there as though he wanted to bust through that defensive line and play the ball quickly. And Russell just ends up on the wrong side of that ruck, clashes with Roderick Tye.
So a bit of reorganisation needed for Warrington. And straight away, James Harrison has come on to replace Dan Russell. And we'll square up for this first tackle as Wakefield restart the game. And it's with Jay Pitts, 20 metres from his own line. Hood waiting for it, wanted it quickly, didn't come quite as quickly as he wanted, but Lino now gets the ball quickly, fed down the right-hand side. Josh Rourke coming away with the ball. Wakefield again, very early door, straight back up to Warrington territory. Here he is with Jack Croft, who's made another 10 metres before we get to the last tackle. And Lino, instrumental with that huge kick for this second try, which Kaius Vaitili happily helped himself to.
Yeah, well, Mike McMeekin just offside when that ball was kicked, and they'd be disappointed. The ref was trying to work with Wakefield and calling him offside. Unfortunately, McMeekin didn't hear him, gives the penalty away and just lets Warrington off the hook with a big kick here, surely, from Mark Sneed to get him away from their own line.
Well, Wakefield have now, having won 5 of their opening 10 Super League games this season, already more than they managed last time they were in Super League, where they only managed 4 wins and lost 23. That was back in 2023. But they do look a completely different animal now, Wakefield Trinity, as far as Super League is concerned. Wakefield 75% possession in these opening stages, and Warrington only able to make 50 metres with the ball as opposed to 261 for Wakefield. Test.
Yeah, incredible. They've respected the ball, respected the possession, played on the back of a strong kicking game. A nice carry here from Curry, gets him centre field, and Mark Sneed just setting up on the left.
Warrington, and the ball goes down from Dufty there and gobbled up by Lachlan Walmsley.
Nice read from Corey Hall, then he pulled the trigger, he come in, he forces that mistake.
Here he is, Corey Hall, and 3 purple shirts quickly in on the top of him.
Do you know, I like both the centres. You can see he jams in here. Matt Dufty tries to just change direction in her, but Corey Hall, Ollie Pratt, both of them young players. Pratt 20, Corey Hall 22. Got bright futures in the game.
McMeekin moving his way up towards the halfway line for Wakefield Trinity. Again, they play this ball very, very quickly. It's a very flat pass there. In fact, it was forward as Ollie Pratt tried to receive it just half an inch too far off the line from where he should have been. Warrington will regain possession.
Yeah, just a bit of inside pressure on Max Chatwood. He's doing a decent job. It's Harrison who puts that inside pressure on him, forces him to make that ball, but he's standing behind the ruck and he's looking for that late retreater. On that occasion, it was Stephen Ratchford going back. He wanted to attack that same space, and he's done it on a number of occasions in this game. Just trying to play the game at a quicker pace than Warrington, and it's easier when you've got that field position early on.
What is it like when you've had such a big strength-sapping game like that semi-final against Lee, and then you have to get yourself up again for another strength-sapping game in Super League again? When you play a team like Wakefield, it must be really, really hard work, it's mentally and physically.
It's massive. Psychologically, it's absolutely huge, and Sam Burgess would have prepared his side knowing that he's up against a really strong, determined side with the fans behind him, and they had to be absolutely on in this game.
Lukey Yates down in the tackle as Powell brings it back towards Ratchford, and then straight through for Harrison, who had to come on a little bit earlier on. Sam Powell back out towards the left-hand side. Sneed with the hands again to find Dufty towards the corner. Connor Wrench now back in the side for Warrington Wolves after suffering that ACL injury last year in July. straight back into the side this afternoon. Here's big Paul Vaughan once more, and a great offload from him. 6 again, as Dufty will bring it back out towards the 10-metre line, waiting for some space, and Roderick Ty trying to push his way out of the challengers, but eventually it's Jowett who will bring him down.
He's lost the ball.
Wakefield Trinity, and he's lost it. And they celebrate like they've scored a try, Wakefield Trinity, and rightly so.
Look, you've got to work as a team. Communication is absolute key. Tom Johnson does a decent stuff. They're challenging this, though.
Aaron, there's no
well, we'll have another look for this one as we hand over once more to the video referee, Aaron Moore, for the captain's challenge.
That's great, yeah, he'll adjudicate on that, man,
So we've got a captain's challenge. And Warrington are challenging the ruling of a knock-on into the man. So Ty's in possession. We'll look for our best angles on this. So he's in possession of the ball here, Roderick Ty. Still in possession. We can't see anything on the ball though. If we can look for another angle to see if it gives us more. This will be the best one. So Ty's in possession. Still in possession here. The ball. And then we'll just go back on this, see how this ball comes out. Got Jowett and Ty in the tackle here. Just looking how this ball comes out. So, looking how this ball comes out. So go back on this. Both in the tackle, both in the tackle. And we can't see there if there's a reef in action or if the ball's just lost. Go back on this. He's in the tackle. Still in the tackle here. We'll go back to camera 5 to see if it gives us any more on this. You can see how the ball's come out. These are our best angles, what we're looking at here. So again, it's Jowett and Ty in the tackle. Jowett's making the tackle, still making the tackle, still making the tackle. Right, I've looked at all the angles here, and there's no evidence to suggest that the ball has been reefed. It's his challenge unsuccessful.
So the challenge is unsuccessful. And, well, it was a difficult one to try and see anything that was happening there that was untoward as far as that challenge was concerned. Tez, what did you make of that?
Yeah, well, you've got to go with the referee. The referee called it. And obviously there was nothing conclusive there that could have changed the mind and that decision. But strong defence. First of all, it was Tom Johnson, but then what about the whack? And Jowett, he comes in, attacks the ball, he goes down tight, loses it, and you can see the both players looking round to the touch. So Jan to the referee, calling for that play and saying that it had been lost on collision.
Well, you can see the stat there, 5 unsuccessful challenges so far for Warrington, only the 3 that have been successful. It's proved to be the fact that the referees have been getting the decisions right in the vast majority of the cases so far. And I think players are probably still learning as to exactly how you should try to use the captain's challenge.
Look, well, sometimes there's desperation, isn't there? Sometimes you challenge the decision when you're gassed and you need a bit more time to just recover because you know you're under pressure and it's late on in the game.
McMeekin with the ball out to Lino, who's wrapped up nicely in the tackle by Wrench and Lindop. As Hood scampers away down to the right-hand side once more. Now Corey Hall trying to skip away from the defenders to the halfway line again. Wakefield, and Hood is on his bike quickly with a chip forward as well for everybody to try and chase. Wormsley was the nearest one in a white shirt, but Warrington's defence on this occasion wise to it.
Well, they go the short side, nice footwork and quick play the ball from Corey Hall. Just spot that maybe the short on numbers down that short side, they go for it, nothing comes off, but still no bad place to turn the ball over. Just 22 metres away from Warrington's line as the outside backs now. Drew Foulis are getting in and trying to just speed the game up a bit.
Powell at dummy half, finding Roderick Ty, who runs into a white brick wall. 30 metres from his own line as Powell goes for the kick towards the corner. And Rorke's having to backpedal to get this one. It's just stayed in play as well. It's a lovely kick.
Great kick. Kicking on the third play. And just look at that chase as well. This is where they need to aim up, go after Wakefield.
Signs of positivity now for Warrington after they were very much on the back foot for the opening 10 minutes. As Walmsley gets this away into the middle for John Stone. Woodwaite's just behind him again. And Warrington now defending in numbers, hunting in packs as they feel their way into this game. Griffin through the middle.
They looked like they were just setting up on the right-hand side. Then Mason Lino with another long kick.
Those kicks from Lino have been put to devastating use so far, and that one just bouncing away from Dufty. He had to really keep his eye on that one and have a second bite at it. Warrington on the attack then, still firmly inside their own half.
Well, Conor Wrench then looking to tip the ball onto young Jake Fewlis. They need some push, need some support around the ball. The man who's carrying the ball just seemed really bunched in the middle of the field.
Yeah, you would expect Warrington to maybe try and move it out to the flanks just a little bit more, rather than concentrate all their efforts up the front. But Harrison out wide to Powell, and now Vaughan, who will look for the offload as he always does, and he manages to successfully get it away as Curry now through the middle. This is the last. As Powell looks to line it up and find Mark Sneed, and Sneed goes for the kick to the corner. It's a high spiralling one. Walmsley made the mistake. Corey Hall, he's almost let go of the ball as well. But success again for Warrington, and it came from that wicked kick from Mark Sneed.
Well, that's it. A strong kicking game can change the game in the blink of an eye, can't it? And Warrington need to be the next on the score sheet. A little fumble from Wakefield, and Mark Sneed, I've seen him so many times. Just a big kick, wasn't it? Lachlan Walmsley couldn't quite take it cleanly. Then there was a bit of a fumble from Hall, under some pressure from Wrench.
Meantime, Wakefield have made a substitution. Isaiah Vanganar has come off the bench for Kaius Faatili. So Faatili, having scored his 2 tries, has decided he's had enough. We've got another captain's challenge going on, though, following that loss of the ball from Corey Hall over on the far side. So once again, we go back to video referee Aaron Moore.
I have to start explaining the challenge to Mike, who's returning from a kick.
So you've got a captain's challenge, and Wakefield are challenging the ruling of a knock-on. So we'll play it through here. So it goes back off Lachlan Walmsley. So we can play it through, and then we're looking to see how this ball's picked up. So Hall's going for the ball here. Going for the ball. And then the ball hits the floor. And it is... yeah, it hits the floor. And then it is regained by Hall by usage of the floor. The challenge is unsuccessful. It is lost. And he uses the floor to pick it up.
Well, an unsuccessful challenge. You can see what Wakefield were trying to appeal against, though. Corey Hall was trying to juggle the ball and regain possession there, but didn't do it within the rules of the game.
No doubt, Paolo. The shaker that he didn't want him to challenge that realistically, but as well, Josh Rowe and Lachlan Walmsley, there's got to be a clear call there. Both clashing with each other, then the bounce of the ball, difficult for that man to take in.
Almost midway through the first 20 minutes of the first half.
They're overloading the right side.
Wakefield's record with challenges not great either. Warrington now then with the opportunity to apply some pressure. Roderick Tye trying to inch his way a little bit closer and closer to the line before they're getting out towards Harrison, just in front of the posts. Sam Powell waits just behind him, marshalling his troops, goes to the left side and finds Ben Curry, and how Curry would love to score on his 300th appearance for Warrington Wolves. He's held up just a little bit short, though. And Powell once more goes out to the left-hand side for Sneed. Now Dufty trying to dance his way away from the Wakefield defence, which is Corey Hall and Mason Lino, and Jack Croft getting in on the act as well, as Conor Wrench now waits for it behind Dufty, and Wrench gets it out to Sneed. Back once again with Vaughan. Vaughan with a quick hold off down the right flank. They come through the hands quickly here. Warrington, it might go towards Thewlis. Thewlis, though, has been pushed over the line by the dogged Wakefield defence. And they celebrate again because they've managed to defuse yet another attack from the Warrington Wolves.
Again, it's the same side, isn't it? Working in tandem, working together. Applying some pressure with the line speed from the inside. Then when the ball goes out wide, working from the inside. And Thewlis tries to use his footwork to get back inside, but again you see Tom Johnson just to get hold of him. Then Ollie Pratt comes across, lends his weight and get him over the sideline along with Jowett. Great defence from Wakefield.
Well, the news coming from the sidelines is that Dan Russell has passed his head injury assessment, so he will be able to rejoin play, but there's been a high shot here on Lachlan Walmsley.
In association with HH Construction, the head injury.
He's a big man as well, Lachlan Walmsley. And Luke Yates, the man who's been penalised. And again, it just gives him. You can see he's going down. When he cops one, really difficult for Yates to really pull out of that then. Oh, they haven't found the touch.
Well, that's a basic error.
That's a
real
sin.
basic error.
Big sin. Been under so much pressure. You've got to get to the sideline. You've got to get it over the sideline.
Powell brings it back in for Sneed. Little touch off through the middle for Luke Yates. Back outside towards the left-hand side now as they try and bring it through towards the 10-metre line. And Powell back out to Sneed. Vaughan now. Can Vaughan cannonball his way through this Wakefield defence? He can't, and he offloads it straight into the hands of Jay Pitts.
You look, Jay Pitts was just there loitering with intent.
He was waiting. He could see it. He could see for all the world that it was obvious that Paul Vaughan was going to try and offload there. He was the right man at the right time.
Every time he's carried the ball in this game, Paul Vaughan, he's always looked for the offload. Jay Pitts was aware of what he was doing and gets himself between Paul Vaughan and Sam Powell.
Wakefield then suddenly gifted the opportunity to redeem themselves after not finding touch with that kick just a moment or two ago, and it's mistakes like that that can really be the toll of a game. A big hit from McMeekin there as Hood screaming at the referee to let play go on quicker here. Lino all the way out to Dufty at the back. And Wakefield quickly into defence to repel him. It's been a massive defensive effort from Wakefield so far.
Yeah, well, maybe they're just doing the basics well, aren't they? You know, maybe a bit of panic from Warrington. Just, not saying try to score on every occasion, but you get that field position, you want to keep the ball alive as much as possible. Just build a bit more pressure.
Roderick Tye just over the halfway line as Powell waits again at dummy half. Quickly for Curry and an offload in towards Vaughan. Vaughan back to his feet to find Powell, and now Sneed with a quick touch from him. Sneed still pulling the strings time after time after time in every game he plays. A lovely kick again out towards the line. Straight underneath it is Josh Rourke. Well taken. He's diffused it. Wants to play it quickly from the 20-metre line, and Wakefield quickly turning defence into attack.
Again, good play from Josh Rourke. He made sure when he jumped for that ball, he was in the behind the dead ball area, and then again it's just all about speed. The outside backs yet again just making some decent inroads.
Wakefield 14 tackle busts as opposed to Warrington's 3, and the stats all pointing in the direction of the home side, including the most important one, which is right at the bottom, leading by 12 points to 0, and the opportunity to get further in front here as John Stone. Well, you wouldn't have expected that, and oh well. Warrington,
there's a late
with
hit.
Russell there, thought they were away, but a late hit in back play.
Yeah, it's going to be
the
a
referee's
penalty.
called it back for that.
There's going to be a penalty here.
It's Josh Rourke who's gone down right on the halfway line. And the referee just having a quick word with the video here, just to see exactly what has happened.
Well, it's Roderick Tye that comes in. And he doesn't miss, does he? Have a little look at this. The crowd went up straight away. You can see point.
It's a big hit.
Yeah, he looks a worried man as well, Roderick Ty, let me tell you.
Big hit.
Well, he's one of the most aggressive defenders Warrington
Definitely a penalty because the ball's gone. In my opinion, he has enough time to moderate his contact, and he doesn't.
Well,
he doesn't moderate.
Interestingly, Warrington have been one of the cleanest teams in Super League so far this season. They're one of only 2 sides yet to be shown a yellow or red card in the competition. The other side, of course, being Lee Leopards. And it looks as though they will not be getting a card here either. It looks as though it's just going to be a penalty. The referee having made his decision.
Because it's front on contact, all right.
Words being held.
I just want to explain it to you. Back. Nice here. You'll try anything new, won't you? Time on you, kicking to touch, yeah. Mason.
I think he's a lucky man there. Roderick Ty. The late shot, you can see Josh Raw, and he takes this whack here. He's saying because it's front on.
Yeah, it would have been very difficult for Roderick Ty to pull out of that tackle. The ball had gone a millisecond just before he arrived. Wakefield, however, have possession, and they're midway inside the Warrington half. 25 minutes of the game played. As Isaiah Vanganar now brings it to the 20-metre line, and all of a sudden Wakefield feel like they have another big opportunity as Jowett finds Lino. Griffin with a little shot through. Griffin finding the gap, and Griffin will score for Wakefield Trinity. 3 tries without answer in the opening 26 minutes of this game, and the home side very much feeling the warmth of home.
Well, Josh Griffin, his 18th season as a pro, and let me tell you, it looked like one of the easiest tries that he would have scored in his career. You've got to credit Mason Lino, ever present, the change in the tempo of his run. He attacks the line, and the set-up play from them all comes about from the penalty here from Ty with a late shot on Josh Raw. And you just look at the movement, the late movement from Mason Lino comes from behind the ruck, and you can just see he pulls all the strings. Steph Ratchford gets caught up along with Luke Yates, but all the damage, it's nice, honest. He keeps them nice and square, nice and direct, and Griffin, good angle and good try.
3 tries scored, and 2 from the forwards union. And you'll be happy with that, Tez, no doubt. And I don't think Josh Griffin will have much of an easier finish than that in his career, in his long and illustrious years. But a chance now to be 18-0 up against the side that are going to be playing in the Challenge Cup final in a few weeks' time. Now, Wakefield fans must be in dreamland at the moment. Jowett then to try and make it 3 from 3. And indeed he does. Wakefield now looking comfortable.
Yeah, well, in that good ball area of the field, those fans and Darryl Powell will be really happy with what he's seen so far in this game. Mason Lino, Mike Stewart pulling the strings, and you just look at the work from Mason Lino because he goes deep into the line. Luke Yates just bites in. Stephen Ratchford just leaves a bit too much space for Griffin to go through.
Well, all 3 tries so far. Mason Lino has been at the heart of every single one, pulling the strings and doing a brilliant job for the home side so far. Wakefield looking for only their 2nd home win of the season in Super League so far. The other 4 wins that they've had, besides that one against Castleford here, were all on the road, or on neutral ground, as it was for Magic. Lino again, he's been a real thorn in the side for this Warrington Wolves team. They are really struggling to do anything against this magician of a player. Quickly again, Corey Hall trying to bring it through for Wakefield.
Again, this is too quick, isn't it?
Yeah, they are so quick.
Liam Hood just getting over the advantage line. Mason Lino, then Corey Hall.
Last one. And a big high kick again, swirling under a bit of a breeze, and Lachlan Walmsley's done a brilliant job to keep that in play and find Corey Hall, who goes again for the corner. This time it'll be a sprint race, but it's gone too far, and Sneyd will watch that one go straight.
Yeah, just too much on the kick then from Hall, but they'll take it though. They've been having a real good time here. Like you said, Fraser Mason-Lino hasn't he been good in this game, playing it behind a really strong, aggressive pack though, let me tell you.
I was just going to say that Liam Hood, every time Wakefield are in attack and he's picking up the ball from the back of the ruck so quickly. He is actually a former 100 metres Bradford School sprint champion, which explains a lot, doesn't it?
Well, that was quite a few years ago though, let me tell you.
Hey, he's still got it. He's clearly still got it.
What I like about Liam Hood is that how aggressive he is in defence. He's clever, he's been around the block, hasn't he? And he certainly gives his all. He looks gassed a bit though now. There's done plenty of work in this game.
The referee not happy with where that ball was played from, as he tells James Harrison to just go back half a metre or so. Vaughan brings it forward now, again for Warrington Wolves. Oh, and then a mistake at the play of the ball there from Vaughan. And he has his head in his hands, and rightly so.
Yeah, looks a tired effort, doesn't it, from the big forward. He certainly had a dig in this game. Incorrect play of the ball. Well, there you go, incorrect play of the ball. It's handed over now to Wakefield. And again, it just seems a bit of deja vu. They don't have to work really hard to get the ball away from the try line. See the frustration.
Well, we did mention it. I wonder as to whether there might be a bit of fatigue in some of the legs from the Warrington players, and so it certainly seems to be the case. Griffin on the halfway line, try scorer for Wakefield Trinity, as Hood to Pitts, quickly to Vanganar, and there are so many in white shirts who are willing ball runners time after time after time. Give it here, let me have a go. Pitts again, through towards the right-hand side, and well held up by Rourke, and Walmsley gets another chance at it again. He might try and pick this one more. He can. Walmsley into Hall. Wakefield, the entertainers, still going here. Oh, but it's one offload too many, and straight into the hands of Steph Ratchford.
Oh, Steph Ratchford, the old fox. I'm sure he's given a call to Corey Hall for the ball, and it was a perfect pass from Corey Hall, unfortunately, to an opposition player. But you know, that's the attitude of him, keeping the ball alive, asking plenty of questions.
Rourke and Walmsley, both of them there, having two bites at the cherry in terms of keeping hold of the ball. But the penalty's been conceded here. It was offside there. And Sneyd will just settle everybody down here and get everybody back on the same page before restarting Warrington.
Well, it doesn't seem... Oh, it seems a long time since they've had any sort of crack near the line. They get the penalty here. A couple of players to pick from being offside. Mark Sneyd now kicks the ball over to this right-hand side. And it's just coming up with for Warrington really, coming up with a positive setting, decent field position. Mark Sneyd just trying to rally his troops here, throwing his arms around and trying to point them in the direction of where he wants them to finish off.
Well, they've managed to gain some good field position here, Warrington, from that penalty. As Vaughan brings it to the 10-metre line. It's taking three of the big guys from Wakefield to eventually bring him down before Powell gets it out to the right-hand side for Ratchford, who wants to go back the other way instead for Roderick Tye. Tye trying to burrow his way under the Wakefield defence. Everyone gets organised once more, and they go for the left side, for the long pass to the left-hand side, and Warrington are in the corner. Warrington are in the corner with Aaron Lindop, and the referee has no hesitation in giving this one. And it was the long pass out towards Mark Sneyd, and a chip over the top for Lindop to dab down in the corner, and all of a sudden Warrington find themselves back in the game.
Well, you look at the pass here from the dummy half, number 14, Sam Powell. It's absolutely on the button to Sneyd, and Sneyd just throws the ball over the top. But it's that first ball, quality play from Sam Powell, and you can just see that double little pump from Mark Sneed. Just buys a bit of time on the edge, creates a bit of space from Lindop, and it's so important that they scored the next try. You can just see a couple of runners, dummy runners, Connor Wrench going through, create some space out wide. Well, two big passes, two enormous passes, first from Powell, then from Sneed, and then the try scorer Lindop.
His 5th try of the Super League season for the 19-year-olds. He played 59 minutes last week after Matty Ashton had gone off in the Cup semi-final against Lee, and proving to be an important squad member for Warrington. So Sneed, doesn't matter where he is on the pitch, you would always back him to put the ball between the posts. Such is the quality of his goal kicking, and he struck this one pretty well, very well in fact. The flags go up and it doesn't matter where he is. Mark Sneed, you'd put your house on him scoring from there.
Well, there's 4 from 4 last week for Sam Burgess, along with that drop goal against Lee, and he kicks an important 2 points on the back of Lindop scoring. Well, they've shown that if they just get a bit of field position, play with a bit of composure. They said Sam Powell, that pass was outstanding from dummy half.
We talked about it earlier on, didn't we, as to whether Warrington were trying to play too much through the middle, and if they got the ball out to the flanks a little bit more, they might be able to expose a little bit of a frailty here and there in the Wakefield defence, and so it showed there.
Look, they've certainly got some strike, haven't they? And we said at the very start of the game about how influential Mark Sneed could be. Here they go again.
Away down the left-hand side. This is well held up by Sneed, and Connor Wrench, almost a year after injury, back in the side and back on the score sheet for the Warrington Wolves, and all of a sudden the pendulum has swung in dramatic fashion, and Warrington are well and truly back in the game.
Well, that's it, back-to-back efforts from Warrington. If ever you want a reminder of how good this side is, you just look at the last 3 minutes that they've played. And Sam Powell goes down that short side. It was a lovely ball, wasn't it, from Mark Sneed, and Mark Sneed knew he didn't have the legs. He tips the ball onto Connor Wrench, and just smart, intelligent play from the same 2 players again. Sam Powell, then Mark Sneed. Lindop does a decent job, doesn't he? Gets the ball back on the inside, and again it's about not panicking at all. And Warrington, well, 5 minutes ago we thought that they were wobbling. There was a bit of panic on the sideline from Sam Burgess. Then all of a sudden, up steps Sam Powell, up steps Mark Sneed, and they find themselves 10 points on the scoreboard in just a couple of minutes with a kick to come.
What a difference a few minutes can make to a game. And as much as we were talking about Warrington looking tired and maybe a little bit jaded at the start of this game, as soon as they've had a sniff, they've taken 2 terrific opportunities, and Sam Burgess will have a very, very different team talk going in to the sheds, as well this man, Darryl Powell.
Well, he'll be really disappointed, won't he, in the last couple of sets that he's seen his players come up with.
Mark Sneed then closing in. Oh, he's hit the post on this occasion. Well, that is a rarity. That is one for the collector's scrapbook, isn't it? Mark Sneed missing a kick from an easier angle than the first one.
Well, he nailed it from the sideline, didn't he, just a few minutes ago. Like I said, misses that one. But Mark Sneed goes down that short side. Lindop just pulls in Josh Rowe at the full-back. And then Wrench, a good way to return with a try. That's their first game in a year. Gets over and scores a valuable try.
Sneed is closing in on another bit of Super League history, by the way. He's picked up 1 conversion. If he gets another 5, he will go to 4th in the all-time kickers list. Such is the quality of his boot. Into the last 2.5 minutes of the first half, and it's a completely different ball game now, as Warrington Wolves, with their tails up now, And Paul Vaughan pushing his way through to 10 metres from the halfway line. Sneed, high long kick again. They need to get a word under this one, and there was almost another coming together as Walmsley takes the ball away, but Rourke didn't shout for it, or did he? I'm not sure.
Look, again, both of those players have got to, the fullback, if he's going for that ball and he's calling for it, you've got to let him get it. Again, miscommunication, big shout.
Sneed again doing all the damage. And it could have been very, very damaging for Wakefield if Lachlan Walmsley had not held onto that particular ball. As it is, they have possession just short of the halfway line. Offside, though, against Warrington. Mason Lino gets the chance to just relieve a little bit of the pressure.
Yeah, well, Liam Rush, I think he's trying... He'd called, I think it was Adam Allroyd, and he's just saying to him then as he's going back, I've spoke to you a couple of times. Allroyd trying to get off the line quickly.
Banganar, who's another big battering ram of a player for Wakefield Trinity, as Hood again away to Pitts, down the line for Lino, and he's tackled not too far away from the line. How much of a fillip would this be for Wakefield if they were able to get a score just before we hear the hooter? McMeekin doing his best to make that become a reality. Plenty of players waiting alongside him now for the ball to come out as Hood decides to go for it himself, and he's lost possession here. The ball's gone loose, and Warrington this time are the ones who are celebrating regaining possession.
Well, they're just trying to pin him in the corner. Some strong defence from Warrington. Adam Allroyd come up with a decent tackle. Then I think it was Connor Wrench that forces the error. You can see he comes in, just clamps hold of Hood, he makes the error. And Warrington now, well, at least there'll be an easier team talk from Sam Burgess at half-time.
There's a lot of positives that they can build on here, Warrington Wolves, I'm sure, as the hooter goes. But it will be some pretty contrasting chats as far as the coaches are concerned after Wakefield have got themselves into such a strong position, and Warrington have come back in such fashion.
Yeah, well, they were so dominant, weren't they, early on in this game, Wakefield, and it will be a lot easier from Darryl Powell and Sam Burgess. Well, they scored 10 points.
So it has been one heck of a first half. Wakefield streaking into an 18-0 lead, but 2 tries late on at the end of the first half mean that Warrington Wolves are very much back in it. It's still a game that could very easily swing either way, but at the break, Wakefield lead by 18 points to 10. From the Saints Supremo, the bench available on Monday from Jenna and John. Here, of course, at the DIY Kitchen Stadium, Wakefield Trinity are leading by 18 points to 10. Wakefield 18 points to 0 up with about 5 minutes remaining in the first half, but Warrington have well and truly struck back. Who will be the happier of the coaches, do you think, and have the less arduous job of a team talk in the sheds?
Well, it would have been easier because of the 2 tries scored for Sam Burgess going into the talk to his players, but I think Darryl Powell overall, the 3 tries that they scored, they came out the first 26 minutes, they looked so dominant, in control, quite composed, the way Mason Lino was just guiding the side around the forwards, really getting on top of Warrington. But then 2 tries in quick succession has really turned this game on ahead, really. And it's going to be a very, very interesting opening 10 minutes.
They look sluggish and fatigued, Warrington Wolves, in the opening half of the first 40 minutes as Wakefield really put their foot on the gas. But slowly but surely the Wolves woke up and they're very much back in this game. It could go either way. We've got 40 minutes, which I expect will be full of excitement and drama. Let's hope for plenty of that. It's going to be Wakefield who are going to get us back and off underway this afternoon. Just a little reminder that our referee this afternoon is Liam Rush, and Aaron Moore is the man in the video booth with the controls as Wakefield get us off and underway once more. As a high ball is hoisted up from Max Jarrett, and it's a drop straight away for Aaron Lindop on his own 10-metre line, and those kinds of things can be very, very costly indeed.
Do you know, and you do it as a player, you go into the changing room, nice warm atmosphere, you're listening to the coach, you sat down, you come out, you got to get back into the game, and then the youngster just drops the ball. It was a good kick, wasn't it, from Jowett, and you can just see he gets it wrong, the timing of going to catch that ball.
Just a word on the conditions here, because there is quite a blustery breeze. It's quite swirly, which I'm sure will probably cause many a problem for those trying to receive the ball, as was displayed there by Aaron Lindop. It's overcast and dull at the moment, but Wakefield far from dull as they bring this one out for Jowett, who almost makes it out to the line. The referee has blown a whistle here. Looks like it's offside.
Yeah, Connor Wrench it
Wakefield will get it back again.
Yeah, Connor Wrench.
You want to pat down again?
Well, they'll go back
down again
to the scrum, centre field, and they'll try that play again, will they?
Well, there's just a little warning sign there as Jowett was closing in on the touchline.
Well, a bit of a flash play across the back. You see just looking to use his speed, Jowett and Connor Wrench. And the man who's penalised. Well, they're overloading again. Is it going to be the same sort of play, 4-on-4?
4 away to the left-hand side, but they've gone to the right instead.
Well, that's it. They were just trying to flood the numbers over that side, creating some space over here on Wakefield's right-hand side. He just couldn't get that ball out, though, Hood.
Corey Hall waits for it, goes to the left and finds Vanganar. He's held up just short. They've got plenty of tackles in the bank here, though. Wakefield has Hood with a short ball to Lino. Tries to bring it back in through to the middle for Pitts. Well, he's upended, not too far away. Back in again. Wakefield trying to pick the pocket and find a pass here. As Josh Rourke gets tackled just a metre or two short. Hood looking this way and that. Lino shapes to go one way, and then Rourke brings it back out to the right-hand side before a little back play here. Hall just stepping, waiting for something to happen, because the Wakefield players were convinced there should have been 6 more there. The referee, however, has waved play on. Hood to Lino, back once more with McMeekan. McMeekan, it takes 3 of them to bring him down. 10 metres short of the line. Hood goes to his right, Vanganar again. Croft waiting away to his right-hand side to field this one. If it comes to Lino instead, though, it comes through to Corey Hall. Corey Hall has gone over the line and dabbed it down for Wakefield Trinity, and just as they did in the first half, Wakefield start the second like a train. Corey Hall for Wakefield.
Well, the exciting Corey Hall goes over for a try. I'll tell you what, they looked really good, and Darryl Powell must have used all his experience to get his side up for the start of this second half, because they needed that try. Warrington were just on the front foot at the back end of that first half. The mistake early on from Lindop puts them in that field position that they need. Corey Hall just comes back against the grain, uses footwork, great play, gets on the inside of Connor Wrench and just gets over for a valuable try. And it means so much to them. Again, you look at the footwork from Rourke, the offload from him. Corey Hall picks it up. Look, they're looking at the referee saying it's back to 1. They get the call from the ref, and Corey Hall goes in for 4 points. And again, it's a big kick here from Max Jowett.
That is Corey Hall's first Super League try of the season. The youngster, just 22 years of age still. It's his second spell at Wakefield, of course. He's now played for 6 clubs, having made 14 appearances at Castleford last season. But certainly seems to be enjoying himself a great deal here with Wakefield for a second time. And why not when they're playing like this? Jowett then, 3 from 3 for him so far. He managed to kick 5 from 5 against Warrington in the game earlier in the season, as Wakefield won that one as well. But the extras are added, and all of a sudden we've got a big gap again. Are we going to get a similar mirror image of the first half, do you think?
No, it's a big try for Wakefield. It takes out to 3 scores ahead. Corey Hall scores that, obviously, to the delight of everyone around him, but they go short.
Another swirler, and Jowett is wise to it.
It's a great tear. That catches the ball over his shoulder, and like you said, the wind's going everywhere.
It is blowing in from all angles here now. As Vanganar moves up to the 20-metre line. Quick work again as McMeekin now drives through the middle. 3 in the tackle for Warrington, including Harrison. Vanganar quickly again from Pitts to Jowett. And now to Rourke, and Rourke just folded backwards in the tackle there. That looked like that could have been a nasty one for him if he was not careful. But he comes through unscathed, and Wakefield over the halfway line once again on the 5th tackle here. This will come back towards Mason Lino, and Lino goes for the big kick, and he gets some attention from Harrison in back play as he's let it go. Warrington come away with it though through Dufty.
Again, it was a spiralling kick for Dufty to take. And Wakefield just trying to get on the front foot here. Liam Hood, great contact.
And upended as now through the middle comes Thewlis.
Just look how tight they are, Wakefield.
Roderick Tye.
Yeah, getting numbers in, look at that. Just trying to flip him over, Roderick Tye.
Warrington again now trying to play the ball out wide to the right-hand flanks, and now Lindop, though, was just half a yard too far forward and had to go backwards just a little bit there.
Yeah, again, it looks a bit of panic, though, doesn't it?
Sneed with the kick. Rourke will chase after this one. He decides to let it go instead. And Johnstone just evades another tackle here, Tom Johnstone, and he's lost the ball. And it's picked up by Connor Wrench. Lost in the tackle there by Johnstone.
Yeah, be disappointed, won't he? Used his footwork, used his strength, got rid of a couple of players, then loses the ball in his own half. Warrington now will have time to build their own pressure.
Yeah,
just felt the weight really of Paul Vaughan.
Heads in on 40.
The way Johnstone was wriggling away from those early tackles, I thought we could see him go all the way here. It's the kind of thing that he's capable of.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, that Paul Vaughan got to make sure that they keep competing in everything they do, Warrington.
Roderick Tye.
Move Josh and square. Back, wait.
Into Wakefield territory now, Warrington Wolves with Harrison.
2, straight out Mike. Back Jack, Mason. Go 2.
Back again with Powell. Here's Sneed. Sneed with a show and go. A high one over the top here though, and Lindop has done well. He's done very well, skipping away from the first tackle, and getting tackled on the second attempt. Just over 10 metres from the Wakefield try line here, as Sneed again out wide to the right-hand side they go. Curry with quick hands, and now Dufty. Dufty almost getting through. Dufty with a little back flick out towards the advancing Roderick Tye.
Yeah, he just offloads the ball, doesn't he? Matt Dufty on the 3rd tackle. Had a couple more players up the sleeve. They made the mistake. Sam Burgess has sent on a couple of new interchanges, Joe Philbin and Geordie Crowther, just to try and get on top in the middle. You can just see the blind offload doesn't come off.
That is a big hallmark of their play, though, isn't it, Warrington? They do love an offload, and as we have seen once or twice, that has been read by the opposition.
Well, offloads are great. They create havoc, don't they? You've got to double up your efforts and double up your tackles, but you've got to make sure you're looking where it's going as well. And like I said, when you're trying to examine the line, you've got a couple of more players. It wasn't the player to come up with.
Move together.
Corey Hall is tackled on the 20. As Hood again finds Griffin, one of the Wakefield try scorers.
3. Move now, Geordie. Hold here, wait, go free.
Geordie Crowther in opposition there, having come on as a substitute for Warrington.
He's been very good in his job, Wagner. Look at that, again, quick play the ball.
Lovely quick hands, and it's just inches just inches too far forward in front of Tom Johnstone, but the hands were so quick from Wakefield there. That kind of rugby league is a joy to watch.
Yeah, well again, I just talked about the play the ball from Wagner. It goes out wide, it goes to the left-hand side. If they could live that play again, Ollie Pratt, he wouldn't have passed that.
Just wondered whether there might have been a touch of a hand in from a Warrington player there as it came out, but evidently not. Even at this stage, Terry, with 14 points between these two sides, I still would not like to bet on which way this game is going to go.
No. Well, you see how the game finished in the first half when they looked in control, didn't they, for 35 minutes, Wakefield.
Warrington in possession at the moment as Sneed again in through the middle for Joe Philbin, who is another one of the Warrington substitutes.
Well, Warrington just need to up the completion rate, obviously the possession as well. They need the first shirt.
They need a little bounce of the ball here and there, which they've just had as Harrison picks up the loose pass. Philbin. That's another battering ram of
That's where Liam Hood's good. He might have lost his speed from a youngster, but he's got his tackling technique right.
Yeah, and here's another one who's got all the nous in the world. That is Mark Sneed, and Wormsley will run this one out.
They're going to get a penalty here, are they? Because Matt Duffy, was he impeded when that ball was kicked then? Yeah, they are. They're going to get a penalty.
So, what an opportunity this is.
Escort, he moves laterally into him.
Penalty given.
Well, a bit of panic setting in, defending the try line then. Sensing that Duffy was coming across. And you can just see Mason Lino nudges him.
Yeah, referee was wise to it. And as a result, an opportunity to put some real pressure on the Wakefield try line. Warrington trying to build up another head of steam. Sneed, short into Duffy. Can he find a little bit of magic? Connor Wrench waits just behind him. Players to his left and right. Goes for Sneed. Short in through the middle for Warrington and Geordie Crowther. Powell again, looking for some support out wide to the right. Little dabber kick through from Sneed. And again, the Wakefield players at the back running into each other.
Oh, isn't that a great read?
Shout looks like he's taken a little bit of a knock in the process there as well.
Great read from Josh Rock. Had to be brave as well to get hold of that ball. There's going to be, talking about bravery, there's going to be some brave carries here. Warrington looking to really rev up here and get off the line.
Even at this stage of the game, still some big tackles going in. Mathieu Cazat is also on the pitch here as a Wakefield substitute. So both coaches deciding to make changes in this early stage of the second half.
Well, I think in the first half, both sides only made, was it maybe one substitution. So ringing the changes early on in the second half.
We'll see what effect it has as Lachlan Wormsley, who will probably feel a little bit hard done to after Kayas Vatili's incredible try at Magic. When he scored twice, he maybe should have had three incredible finishes, but only two of them counted. One was chalked off, but Wormsley had a terrific game on that occasion. He's having a great game here this afternoon as well. Largely thanks to that man, Mason Lino, who is really pulling the strings for Wakefield.
Yeah, it just bounces the wrong side of that corner flag, doesn't it? Well, Mason Lino, but his kicking game, well, I think he's been outstanding in this game, really helping the big fellas in the middle of the field, turning Warrington around, challenging them to bring the ball away.
Josh Griffin just grabbing hold of Liam Wood there to pull him out of the challenge and let play carry on. Here's Curry for the visitors. Up to the halfway line with Sam Powell, and there's been a knock on there.
Some of the experienced players are making just some simple errors at the play of the ball line. Ben Curry it was on that occasion. In his 300 Warrington appearance. You get up, trying to play the ball as quick as you can. You just fumble it, you make the error. Nice leg drive from him. But then on his next assignment, he just can't quite nail it. You can see fumbles it.
It's incredible, isn't it, how we talk about these experienced players having all the great rugby league nous and coming out with some amazing plays, and then every so often they make an error like that.
Yeah.
Okay, ball in. Ball in.
Happens to the best of us.
Absolutely. And Ben Cuddy, well, he's given great service, hasn't he, for Warrington.
Wakefield on the attack then, and now inside Warrington territory. As Isaiah Vangenaar, again, just stealing an extra yard or two from out of the Warrington defence. As Hood again for Pitts, quickly out to Pratt, to Croft rather. Hood again, once more into Pitts. Pitts trying to burst his way through the Warrington line. Everybody being pushed back just that little bit further as Hood finds Jowett to Lino down the left side. Massive tackle on
He's
Roy.
going to get a penalty. He's just upended him, hasn't he? Roderick tight. And he puts him in a dangerous position.
That was a huge, huge tackle from Roderick Ty on Josh Rock. The tackle itself was incredible, but then he's just gone a little bit extra afterwards.
And they got one in the first half, didn't he? Josh Rock from Roderick Ty.
Well, referee just having a few words with the video ref, but we're hearing that it's just a penalty on this occasion.
Tell you what, Josh Rock will give himself just a bit more time. Do you know when they're shifting that ball? Because he's got eyes for him, hasn't he, Roderick Ty? He can see the play unfolding. He shoots the line. He's got him twice in this game.
Would you not have been tempted to take the two here on this occasion? They're running with it, obviously, as you can tell, but just a little bit of extra scoreboard pressure. You've got to hand it to Wakefield for taking the chance here. As Croft, just 10 metres from the line, and a chance to really put that hammer down for Wakefield Trinity. Hood out wide to Lino again. Isaiah Vangenaar going for the line himself. Cut short. Hood quickly out to Lino. Down the line they go, right over on the far side. Johnstone! Tom Johnstone with a flying finish into the corner, as we've seen him do so many times before. And that could be the try that makes it too much for Warrington to come back from.
Now Tom Johnstone, well, do you know what you're saying about should you go for the 2 points or just run it? Well, you've always got to back your plays. They can sense what's happening on the field and where they are energy-wise. And because they had all that field position, they wanted to have another crack at Warrington's line. And Tom Johnstone goes in, over on the left-hand side in the corner. But again, it's what the rugby smarts from Wakefield, where that they're playing Mason Lino, again, just timing that run to perfection. Josh Rock, just a couple of tackles. He's been hit by Ty. But you just look at the amount of players that Mason Lino's attracting. He's got a couple of dummy runners that go through with him. They're pulling the Warrington defence. And then a nice ball from Jowett over the top to Tom Johnstone. And that's a valuable try for Wakefield. And again, it just puts Warrington on the back foot, knowing that they need to get hold of the ball in good field position to try and have a crack at Wakefield's line. But again, the start of the first half was all about Wakefield. The start of the second half is all about Wakefield.
What have Warrington got in the tank? A battering, bruising encounter in the Challenge Cup semi-final last week against Lee. Has that been just a little bit of a trip too far? Because Wakefield now have the opportunity to really make it tough for Warrington going into the last quarter or so of this match. Jowett is right up against the touchline here. This is as tough as it gets. He struck it well. It's just gone wide on this occasion. But 18 points between these two sides. Is that too much for Warrington Wolves?
No, it's not. No, it's not. They've still got 23 minutes to go, but they've got to start playing, though. Again, Lino and Jowett, look at that ball from Jowett over the top to Tom Johnstone. Really good. A worrying sign, though, for me was when they were stood under the sticks, Warrington, all just looking up the field.
Body language wasn't good, was it?
It wasn't great at all. Wasn't great at all.
Meantime, from the kickoff, Warrington have regained possession here.
There was a mistake from a Wakefield player. And you can see that the players were asking, they thought that Roderick Ty knocked the ball on. And the referee said that Roderick Ty, the ball went backwards, and then there was a mistake from Wakefield.
Josh Rock with a bit of cramp as well. So having a bit of treatment on the field at the moment. So the referee will keep a hold of proceedings until the Wakefield fullback is able to get back to his position. And he's joining the scrum.
Head in. I'll tell you when, Steph. Head in. Head in, Josh. Head in.
But it's head and feed to the visitors, and Ratchford will roll this one in. And it's too long for Sneed, and another basic error, but they've managed to keep hold of the ball. They have got away with one there.
Yeah, a bit sloppy that from Warrington.
Quicker, Wakefield! Keep it quick! Two.
So Warrington trying to bring this through with Holroyd. And back again it comes. That's a big run in through. A bruiser from Joe Philbin.
Yeah, there you go, trying to lead from the front, wasn't he, then with that carry.
Crowther, that dummy half, goes away to his right-hand side. 6 against, a set restart for Warrington. The referee not happy with how Wakefield were taking way too much time to restart play from their perspective there. So another chance for Warrington to get back into their game. How many chances are they going to get? Sneed with Dufty. Dufty trying to dance his way through again. He's brought down. Referee's blowing the whistle once more.
Yeah, well, offside. Mason Leno's the man who's been penalised by the referee, Liam Rush.
I screamed your name and you just...
Surely at this stage, Wakefield are not going to press the self-destruct button, are they? Sneed brings it wide out to Curry. Here's Harrison. 9 or 8 metres short of the line. Has in towards Philbin. Philbin trying to push his way through. So half a gap there, Joe Philbin. But Griffin's done a good job to keep him at bay. Crowther waits. We go to the right-hand side this time. Ratchford outwards towards Dufty. Dufty can't get the offload. He'll take the tackle. Warrington will keep possession. Fewley's back away in towards Ratchford. Touch on for Warrington. As Yates is down by the 10-metre line. Back again, Curry. Sneed, short again. Ratchford looking for a little backdoor pass, but he didn't come off from Walmsley. Has regained possession. I thought a foot had gone over there.
Well, they look comfortable, Wakefield, defending the line. And there's not been any lone soldiers jumping the line and trying to solve the problem themselves. Again, they're just working themselves, and they're saying that there was a mistake from Steph Ratchford. There it is when he's trying to just engage Corey Hall and flick the ball out on the backhand to Connor Wrench. But Wakefield, I think like things like that, they're forcing them into making those errors. As Sam Burgess, well, penny for his faults at the minute, and how his side are going to score 18 points in the final 19 minutes.
I think that'll probably be one of the most annoying parts of this performance for Sam Burgess. The number of mistakes that Warrington have made when they've not really been under that much pressure when those mistakes have been made.
But then we saw in a 2-minute spell just before half-time of what they actually can do to you.
Yeah. They're not out of this game just yet. But as time goes by, we're now over the hour mark. The clock is ticking.
Well, Liam Hood's just left the field. 61 minutes, 61 solid minutes he's played. Young Harvey Smith's onto the field. So if Warrington get a bit worried about speed and around the ruck area, watch this young lad go.
He's been absolutely superb, hasn't he, Liam Hood? Wakefield Back in position, and Griffin just gets the stuffing knocked out of him, and a big challenge there as Pitts comes away with it here now. Mason Lino out towards the 20-metre line, but he's running out of opportunities because Warrington are coming in.
He's ripped them apart, Mason Lino.
The referee has waved. There'll be another 6 here as well, as Harvey Smith waits for it now. 20 metres from the line, Wakefield Trinity, and an opportunity to maybe put this game to bed. We'll see. Isaiah Vangenaar. Smith just behind him, goes away to his left-hand side. Pitts with a quick ball. They're trying to keep it in here. They have it. Griffin gets a second. Josh Griffin gets a second for Wakefield Trinity. And just moments after they were under the cosh on their own try line, they turned defence into attack. And surely now they are inching closer and closer to 2 points.
Again, this try for me is just off some pretty solid hard work from the forwards. Vangenaar again, just ever since he's come on, every time he carries the ball, there's some real intent in him, trying to play the ball quickly. And Mason Lino gets hold of the ball, nicely timed pass to Jay Pitts. Again, just come and support him. Look at that, and that may be the difference. Again, there's just no panic from Wakefield. They know that they've just got to set up, they've got to value where they are. Jay Pitts gives the ball to Cozza, and then look at that for an offload to Griffin. It's nice little play, isn't it? Always a man's pushing up in support in that next hole, and Wakefield have done all the little basics of rugby league really well in this game.
How on earth Mathieu Cozza managed to keep the ball alive there? It looked for all the world that he was heading for the deck, but the offload was sublime, and Griffin taking it very, very well indeed. But it's all down to this man, I think, Terry. Mason Lino has been absolutely superb for Wakefield Trinity this afternoon.
Well, normally when the big bucks are paid to the brains trust, aren't they? Those spine players, going to be the 1, the 7, the 6, the 9 and the 13. They're the ones who guide you around the field. They've got to end the sets well with a kicking game, give you direction right the way through. I think Mason Lino has been a real phone. I think there was rumours a number of years ago that Warrington actually wanted to sign him. Mason Lino stayed at Wakefield, and what a signing he's been ever since he come over to Super League.
Jowett adds the extras. And it's looking now like a bit of a mountain to climb for Warrington Wolves.
Well, Mason Lino gets the plaudits with the pass that sets up that field position. Jay Pitts pushing up, supporting, but again, it's like, look at it, nice and controlled. There's no panic, there's no one in a better position than him to pass the ball. Forwards working together. A nice little offload yet again, and Griffin goes in for his second.
Mason Lino has been ever present for Wakefield. He's played in every game so far this season, and rightly so. He's absolutely priceless to them at the moment in the form he's in. Griffin, 2 tries for Josh Griffin. The forwards have run riot with the tries this afternoon.
Yeah, they've been really, really strong, really powerful. Some experience in that pack, isn't there?
Look at this, how Wakefield is just throwing the ball around. Walmsley was almost away. You can see that the players are throwing it about with a smile on their face here this afternoon, Wakefield Trinity.
Well, you look at the likes of Jay Pitts and Griffin and Mike McMeekin, they've all got like 17, 18 seasons behind them. Really experienced. Then on the back of that, a wicked kick that from Mason Lino.
Again, real trouble. Real trouble for Thewlis to check that.
Well, he did ever so well, though, to get hold of that, didn't he?
Roderick Ty tries to bring it forward for the visitors. 24 points the gap now. It is a mountain to climb for Warrington. Here's Vaughan back on the field. And Paul Vaughan will do his usual job of causing mayhem for opposition defenders. Sneed with a kick. Sean Stone chasing after this one.
He was looking for that 40-20, wasn't he, back against the grain to Tom Johnstone's side.
You're a brave man to attempt a 40-20 in this wind, I have to say. It's causing trouble for all sorts of players. Look at this.
Yeah, nice play, wasn't it?
Terrific stuff from Ollie Pratt.
Yeah, Jordy Crowther.
Eventually gone down and taken a bit of a knock.
Jordy Crowther flew off the line.
Pratt being looked at here because it was a pretty heavy collision.
Yeah, been really physical, weren't they then? You could see, obviously, scoreboards against them. Jordy Crowther, the former Wakefield man. 100 appearances for Wakefield. He gets off the line and he's saying, look, follow me, lads, here. Tries to set the tone in that set 6 early on the second play.
A concerned face from Daryl Powell, but he's smiling again now, but I guess he's probably just seen the scoreline again. Nice to see that Daryl is fit again, having had a little bout of illness in midweek. It was his assistant, Michael Shenton, who you saw in the picture there, who had to do the press conference duties.
Well, and this would have been a big game for Daryl Powell, wouldn't it? Didn't really end well at Warrington. This time has come to Wakefield. Had a really good year last year. Built a really strong side, like you said.
Seems to be enjoying himself as well.
Well, I'm not saying that there wouldn't be any pressure on Wakefield coming into this year, because they did have a good side. But him and Michael Shenton have done a really good job.
Wakefield, of course, know what it is like beating Warrington already this season. The previous meeting in March in round 4 finished Wakefield 30, Warrington 16 at the HJ on that occasion. So it's been mentioned with Ollie Pratt now bandaged and patched up.
Yeah, just a clash of heads there. I think it was with Jake Fulis where he clashed heads.
Wakefield then with a chance to ram home the point if they possibly can. As Lino finds Corey Hall, another one of the try scorers, to the halfway line for Wakefield Trinity. Smith waits just behind him. Nicely picked up by Pitts and quickly off from Jowett to Rourke. And here is Pratt with that head bandage, showing no major signs of any damage. As Smith plays it quickly. Lino, kick into the corner. Everybody chasing after it. Dufty is underneath and he spilled it. He spilled it here. Wakefield could be in once more. And they are. Ollie Pratt in the corner. The referee, I think, though, is going to want to have another look at this one. And we'll go back once again to the video referee. Aaron Moore will make the decision.
I have a try. I'm okay with the initial onside-offside. Ollie Pratt starts offside, in my opinion. Just confirm that he's a passive chaser at the point Cozza picks the ball up and puts him back onside. Check the 2 pickups into the grounding. You'll review it.
Okay, it's tackle 5 with an on-field decision of a try. It's from a kick, so we will play it through from here. So Lino's kicking the ball. All chasers are onside there. We've got 2 to left in front. It's Harvey Smith and Ollie Pratt. So we'll play it through here. Keep playing it through. So we'll look into the catch. We know Pratt's offside. We'll look at his involvement in a second. So it's lost by Dufty. I'll just have a look where Pratt is here. Pratt's passive, so we can play it through. We know Cozza's onside, because it was just Smith and Pratt. So he's lost the ball, Dufty. Then we're looking at the pick-up here. So we'll just go slow on this. So Cozza's picking the ball up. So he picks the ball up cleanly. And then we'll go in to the ground. The ball's then passed. And then we'll go in on the grounding. And the ball is grounded. Thank you. See no need.
Well, that looks like it's going to be the try that probably puts this game to bed. Ollie Pratt in the corner after Matt Duffy had spilled the high kick from Mason Lino, who has been pulling the strings and tormenting Warrington Wolves all afternoon. And sure enough, the 4 points are given on Wakefield. Well, their fans are in dreamland.
Yeah, like you said, Mason Lino pulling the strings, putting some pressure on Matt Duffy at the back. It was a great kick, and it's a lonely place when you've got to try and defuse one of these towering kicks. But Matt Duffy knows he's got to do better than this. He got his hands to the ball. He's been sent some Wakefield players around him. Causer just tips the ball on. He comes up with his second try assist of the game. And Ollie Pratt on his 50th Wakefield appearance goes in for a vital try that will surely take this game away from Warrington. But it's that man, Mason Lino. His kicks have been terrific in this game. Forced a number of errors right the way through the game. And Ollie Pratt, like I said, scores a valuable try with just 12 minutes to go.
I'm not even going to bother asking you who the Betfred player of the match is this afternoon, because I think it's pretty blindingly obvious, isn't it?
Well, after the first 8 minutes, I was going to go with Fartilli until he got substituted about 20 minutes.
Yeah, I'll ask you formally a little bit later on, just in case somebody does something incredible in the next 10 minutes. Max Jarrett has a pretty incredible pair of boots, and he's managed to put that one over for yet another conversion. And who would have thought this? Wakefield leading Warrington by 30 points with just over 10 minutes remaining in this game.
I think they've dictated the speed of this game. They've played off the back of some really powerful, damaging runs from the forwards. Every forward has really laid a platform and made it easy for the likes of Mason Lino and Max Jowett. And when you talk about halfbacks a lot in games, they need a platform to perform, and they've certainly had that platform. There you go, Fartilli back onto the field now. He could quite get it now.
Captain Chaos.
Yes.
Captain Chaos, Kaios Fartilli. Here he is. And that was the last thing that Warrington want to see coming back onto the field now.
Well, in this position. A big, powerful, fresh forward, yep, you're right.
North away again here. Wakefield with Max Jowett, who seems to have happily moved into the half-back role this afternoon in place of Jake Truman. And it's great when you've got players like that who have that kind of versatility. It's certainly going to be needed for a lot of clubs this season, given the amount of injuries that we're seeing all over the place. Lino again, yet again, that man, he picks it up again almost, Mason Lino. Didn't quite come off this time, but every time he gets hold of the ball, something magical happens.
Yeah, well, just fumbles it. I said at the start of the game, though, we spoke regarding plays that are missing for both sides. There's not many sides in the competition that you take the starting halves, like Ollie Russell out and Jake Truman out and Mason Lino. They're all fighting for those two positions, those three players. Max Jowett, who's playing in the halves, can fill in anywhere in that back line. So competition for places, you play on form as well.
Warrington in possession, though, with Roderick Tye. Powell waiting for him just behind. A win here this afternoon, of course, would mean that Wakefield would go into the top 6 of Super League. Absolutely incredible, and they've got opportunities to try and cement that place over the next few weeks, because an awful lot of their games are at home. If you look at their next 5 fixtures coming up, Salford here, Leeds away, Lee at home, Wigan at home, and Hull KR away. There are some big teams they've got to play there, but if they can press home, some home advantage, they are proving to be a real force to be reckoned with this season, Wakefield.
Yeah, most definitely. And the home advantage, and the fans like turn up and lend the weight, don't they? Really do help them.
That's a great take.
But you know what? It is a great take, but it's the energy and the effort that you show to get to that ball then from Max Jowett. It would have been so easy then to let that ball bounce and say that it's somebody else's, but no, he comes across and cuts it off.
Wormsley in the tackle. Smith waits just behind him. John Stone. And Smith helping him out as 3 Warrington players also show that they're not wanting in terms of effort. But they've been hit by a Wakefield steamroller this afternoon in many respects, haven't they?
Well, it's how they react as well.
Kozar, great offload from him as McMeekin, high ball over the top, looking for Pratt. Oh, Pratt managing to keep it alive as well as Johnstone almost gets away. Still going, Tom Johnstone. This is incredible stuff from Wakefield, just over the halfway line as Johnstone eventually gets tackled. But they're like a bar of soap at times, the Wakefield players. It's hard to get hold of any of them. McMeekin, this is Champagne Rugby League here from Wakefield Trinity as Walmsley brings it back inside. I said at the beginning of the game, they're the disruptors, they're also the entertainers. Magnificent stuff as Jowett chips it on into the middle, and this is diffused by Thewlis, and the pressure is off just a little bit.
Yeah, so everyone getting involved then. Walmsley, Mike McMeekin skirting across the field, looking for something. You talked about Wakefield's next few fixtures. Well, you look at Warrington, they've certainly got to improve. They've got Hull KR next week at home, then Castleford home, then they've got a trip to the Challenge Cup final against Hull KR. Massive, massive 3 games before they have to take on Leeds away and then Huddersfield at home.
Well, it does beg the question, doesn't it? Are Warrington putting all their eggs in one basket to some extent in the Challenge Cup final? They must make their way into the top 6 towards the back end of the season, surely. But at the moment, they've got a lot of work to do as far as that's concerned. And that's, well, Lindop with an attempted kick there.
Do you know, he kicked the ball, then he thought it was going out himself on the full, and he just manages to find the grass infield. And again, some just dejected faces in a Warrington jersey. No, they've been well and truly beaten by 30 points in this game.
Inside the last 6 minutes of the match, Wakefield Trinity leading by 40 points to 10.
Well, Sam Burgess, as a player, would have found himself in these situations over his career, and where the answers are, the answers in the changing rooms, what the players do, how they react, how they front up the following week or weeks. It's always easy sometimes to point the finger at the coach, saying, well, it's the coach's fault. Well, I've always found that it's the players that have to solve the problems on the field.
Again, Wakefield just so happy to pass the ball down the line again and again and again, and it's really stretching Warrington to the absolute limit. Here's Mason Lino, who's tormented them all the way through this game. That gives us an opportunity, Terry, for you to name your Betfred player of the match.
Yeah, well, I think he's been absolutely brilliant, Mason Lino, along with Max Jowett on the back of the forwards, but the one who has weaved the magic right the way through this game has been Mason Lino.
He has been absolutely superb. We'll hear from him at the end of the game a little bit later on. And so Wakefield again finds Vanganar. Vanganar lovely into Rourke. They're still keeping the ball going. Pratt over the top. The referee, though, this time has adjudged that one is forward. And a little bit of relief again for Warrington.
Well, the call, and a direct call from Liam Rush says that's a forward pass, but again, you just look at the white shirts. The ball goes over the top, it does go forward. Clearly, the Wakefield player saying that it come off a Warrington player, but this is always the sign of a good team, Fraser, and how they finish the game off. When they know that the points are in the bag, what's their attitude to defence? You can't just put the cue on the rack.
Yeah, they're still going at it. Great guns, Wakefield. Don't forget, another game coming up straight after this one, the last round of Super League matches this season, as Castleford, this week rather, as Castleford take on Salford. That's coming up next at 5:30, just down the road. As another high hoisted ball comes up towards the back for Tom Johnstone to go chasing after. Johnstone again trying to wriggle his way through tackles every time somebody comes near. Eventually Joe Philbin leaving his hand in at the tackle there.
He's powerful, Tom Johnstone, but he's got really good footwork. Everyone knows him for his speed and how he finishes, but his footwork bringing the ball away as well is certainly damaging as well for any opponent.
Smith to Lachlan Walmsley. He hasn't quite had the same heroics as he had a couple of weeks ago against Castleford in the Magic Weekend game. McMeekin. And again, Terry, less than 3 minutes to go, and McMeekin is still trying to burst his way through brick walls.
Yeah, he's been good, hasn't he? Every game that I've seen him playing,
great run from Smith, Artili, lovely ball off to Kozar. They might be through again here. Rourke almost to the line for Wakefield, but he's held up just short. And there's a player down, but Wakefield have it again. It's too far for Lino. He gets a second attempt. Lino tries to get it away. It's picked up, the loose ball, by Corey Hall. They're still going here, Wakefield. Cam Scott in towards the line. A little touch on. Referee will blow the whistle there because it looked like a forward pass, or perhaps a knock-on. Either way, Warrington will get back possession, but the way that Wakefield have been throwing this around this afternoon, it has been a joy to watch. Probably not if you're a Warrington fan.
Yeah, well, look at him causing some problems getting out. Young Smith, and then Kozar goes forward. You're thinking that he's going to get over the line, Josh Rourke. Bit of panic. There's an attempted intercept from Matt Duffy. He makes a mistake.
Scrum then.
Heads in, Wakey.
10 metres from Warrington's line. So we'll be hearing from the coaches and also from the player of the match, Mason Lino, in just a couple of minutes' time. But this will go down as another famous victory for this Wakefield Trinity side. 2 games that they've played against Warrington, and they've beaten them twice.
They've been really good, haven't they? They're not playing with the big boys now in Super League. The performances have got to be backed up week after week, game after game. And they certainly like playing against the big boys, don't they?
Well, Warrington with an awful lot of tired bodies and an also huge number of bodies in the treatment room as well. But see, you can't take anything away from this performance from Wakefield, and here they come again with Johnstone, still shrugging off tackles as he comes to the halfway line, finds Rourke. Rourke, another willing runner.
That's brilliant. It's champagne stuff. Look, the transition from defence to attack.
Lino into Hall. Hall, can he get it away? No, not quite for Cam Scott, who was just waiting. McMeekin. Jowett with a chip to the corner, chasing after it again here. Wakefield is just half a yard too far forwards of Tom Johnstone, but the hooter has gone, and this will go down as a famous victory for Wakefield Trinity.
Yeah, really gutsy performance from them. You go back to the start of the game, they came out the blocks, didn't they? They're firing on all cylinders, scoring a couple of tries in the opening 9 minutes. Thought they were very aggressive through the middle of the field. The outside backs played off the back of some decent work from the forwards, but Mason Lino, that man, I just looked at him right the way through the game. He was pulling the strings, directing the big forwards, and had a bit of a wobble, didn't he, just before half-time, but they came out, and Corey Hall scored the try 2 minutes into the second half, and that was it. It was just straightforward.
Well, we always knew that Warrington would come back into the game some way or another, but the way, as you say, in which Wakefield started both halves really just blew Warrington away.
Yeah.